If we wanted to ascribe a lie to Ayatullah Sobhani, then why should we give you the name of the book and the volume and the page? Then if I was not to mention it, then how could you find it and show it to people? This is first. So when we are telling you exact page number, the volume number, so we don't want to go into these games, and we don't need actually to do that. When we have strong arguments, we have all these books. I mentioned the name of all those ulama talking about tawassul and Istighatha. And so we don't need to lie about ulama. The problem with these brothers is that they don't understand things properly. And the brother, I saw that he goes to the very page that I gave the address. He goes and says, look, there is no name of tawassul here. It's all about wilayat takvini. And he was looking for the term tawassul. He was looking for the term tawassul. When a person is at that level of knowledge, I am surprised how he can consider himself in the position to come and speak about things that is against the view of the majority of Shia scholars. And they were looking for the term tawassul. While if you are a learned person, if you know the relation between wilayat takvini and tawassul, then you will find out that when he is saying something about wilayat takvini, he is saying it about tawassul. This point about wilayat takvini is about tawassul, because the essence of tawassul that is accused of being shirk is that wilayat takvini. So if Ayatullah Sobhani says something about wilayat takvini, he's saying it about tawassul. So a person who has a little bit knowledge and knows about the issue of wilayat takvini and how wilayat takvini and tawassul and Istighatha are related, he finds out that when he's saying something about wilayat takvini, he's saying it about tawassul. Because why they are accusing tawassul and Istighatha of shirk, to be shirk, it is because of this, the concept of authority of man in doing extraordinary acts. And if this is sorted out, then the issue of tawassul is sorted out. You may see that, Maulana, this is your claim. In order to clarify it, I will go to the books of Ayatullah Sobhani, then you will see that this is not a claim. And those brothers who are claiming that they know the books of Ayatullah Sobhani, so they have to know these things. I am surprised that they don't know these things. The claim of that brother that was saying that we are ascribing something that Ayatullah Sobhani has not said to him, it was because of his misunderstanding. It shows that he's not a clever student, and they have to go humbly sit and learn. When you don't know the role of wilayat takvini in tawassul, no matter you are for tawassul or against it. Sometimes you accept tawassul like us, sometimes you reject it like Wahhabis. But anyhow, if you know the relation of things, you will not raise such questions. Inshallah, they will correct themselves, and now it's on them to come and apologize for the accusation that they had.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Recently, we were studying the issue of tawassul and Istighatha, and in a lecture, I went through the views of the Shia scholars from the very first centuries till today. While I was naming the contemporary scholars, I also referred to Ayatullah Sobhani, and I said that he has many books. In many books, he has discussed this issue. And then I said, we already discussed it in the book Al-Fikrul Khalid, and there Ayatullah Sobhani referred to a point. The point was that those who deny tawassul and Istighatha, under the guise of running from shirk, they are very likely to fall in the trap of shirk. There I explained that there is no difference between ordinary and extraordinary acts in this, from this perspective, in a sense that if you consider ordinary acts to be done independently from Allah, then this is shirk. If Allah is the ultimate cause, there is no problem with that. And the same could be with extraordinary acts. If you consider the agent, the doer, separate from Allah, then this is shirk. But if you're considering the person to be gifted the power by Allah, then why should it be shirk? So when you are separating between these two, it is as if you are considering man independent in ordinary acts, and from that perspective it could be shirk. So we said that it might be that in some cases, according to Ayatullah Sobhani, tawassul and istighatha, those who are rejecting tawassul and istighatha to run away from shirk, they are falling in shirk. I explained it in details when I talked in a lecture which was broadcasted as the first episode on tawassul and istighatha from the channel of eSHIA. And there I explained the nature of such a power for man. That nature of power doesn't entail any shirk. So I thought that my audience, they have learned the lesson. I didn't know that some people may not get it easily. So when I was talking in the second episode, that I was talking in the other one, which was about the view of scholars, I said that Ayatullah Sobhani says this about the issue of tawassul and istighatha. Then some people came to claim that we are ascribing something fake to Ayatullah Sobhani, and he has not mentioned this. Ayatullah Sobhani is talking about something different. And we are ascribing a lie to Ayatullah Sobhani. Here are some points to be mentioned. First is that if we wanted to ascribe a lie to Ayatullah Sobhani, then why should we give you the name of the book and the volume and the page? Then if I was not to mention it, then how could you find it and show it to people? This is first. So when we are telling you exact page number, the volume number, so we don't want to go into these games, and we don't need actually to do that. When we have strong arguments, we have all these books. I mentioned the name of all those ulama talking about tawassul and istighatha. And so we don't need to lie about ulama. Ayatullah Sobhani, who has done, I said, is a person that who has done, you can say, one of the few people who has done lots of works on the issue of aqaid, and specifically tawassul and istighatha. So I thought that my audience, those who are listening to the lectures, they have got the lesson properly, and we don't need to go into details. I was just removing some misunderstanding. I said that some brothers were confused that how you are saying that those who are rejecting tawassul and istighatha could fall in shirk. Then I explained it. And I said that Ayatullah Sobhani is saying this about tawassul and istighatha. Then we saw that it caused some misunderstanding for some brothers to make a video to say that we are doing this and that. The problem with these brothers is that they don't understand things properly. And the brother, I saw that he goes to the very page that I gave the address. He goes and says, look, there is no name of tawassul here. It's all about wilayat takfini. And he was looking for the term tawassul. He was looking for the term tawassul. When a person is at that level of knowledge, I am surprised how he can consider himself in the position to come and speak about things that is against the view of the majority of Shia scholars. It was only Sayyid Abul Fazl Burqai who is of no weight. And the others are not among Maraji, even very few people who are now influenced by the Western culture in London and in America, they are of no weight and at the level of Maraji of the history of Shia. So these brothers misunderstood the point, and they were looking for the term tawassul. While if you are a learned person, if you know the relation between wilayat takwini and tawassul, then you will find out that when he is saying something about Wilayat Takwini, he is saying it about tawassul. This point about Wilayat Takwini is about tawassul, because the essence of tawassul that is accused of being shirk is that Wilayat Takwini. So if Ayatullah Sobhani says something about Wilayat Takwini, he's saying it about tawassul. So I didn't want to get into details of all those issues that we already mentioned, because I was sort of in a hurry. I had to finish the lecture in less than an hour, going through the views of all the scholars. And bearing in mind that the audience, they have learned the lesson in the first episode, so I didn't go into details. So a person who has a little bit knowledge and knows about the issue of Wilayat Takwini and how Wilayat Takwini and Tawassul and Istighatha are related, he finds out that when he's saying something about Wilayat Takwini, he's saying it about Tawassul. Because why they are accusing Tawassul and Istighatha of shirk, to be shirk, it is because of this, the concept of authority of man in doing extraordinary acts. And if this is sorted out, then the issue of Tawassul is sorted out. You may say that, Maulana, this is your claim. In order to clarify it, I will go to the books of Ayatullah Sobhani, then you will see that this is not a claim. And those brothers who are claiming that they know the books of Ayatullah Sobhani, so they have to know these things. I am surprised that they don't know these things. In Mafahim al-Quran, volume 1, page 497, Ayatullah Sobhani says, هل الاعتقاد بالسلطة الغيبية لغير الله موجب للشرك? If to believe that other than Allah have extraordinary powers, powers of unseen, is it shirk? Then he says, لا شك في أن طلب الحاجة من أحد إنما يصح إذا اعتقد طالب الحاجة بأنه قادر على إنجاز حاجته. To ask a haja from someone is dependent on considering that person capable of doing that. Then he brings examples for that, like for example, إن المسيح عليه السلام كان يقدر بقدرة غيبية على منح الشفاء. Jesus عليه السلام, Isa عليه السلام, by an unseen power, a power from Allah, extraordinary power, he was able to heal the sick people without going through material and natural process of healing a person. Then he says in the next page, 498, وَقَالُوا لَوْ أَنَّ أَحَدًا طَلَبَ مِنْ أَحَدِ الصَّالِحِينَ. If a person asks some haja from a righteous person to be حَيًّا كَانَ أَمْ مَيِّتًا, to be alive or to be dead, there is no difference. فَهَذَا مُلَازَمٌ لِاعْتِقَادِ السُّلْطَةِ السلطة الغيبية. This is sort of in connection with believing in that power of unseen, power from unseen. في حق ذلك الصالح. So you are believing that when you are asking Imam Hussein alayhi salam, you believe that Imam Hussein has that power from unseen, that extraordinary power. والاعتقاد بمثل هذه السلطة لغير الله أين الاعتقاد بألوهيته. They say so. This is a power from unseen. Unseen is for Allah. Anyone who believes that a person, human being, has such power, believes that he has knowledge and power of unseen, then this is considering them ilah, and this is shirk. Wahhabis who reject tawassul and istighatha, they are rejecting because of that. Then he says, وَمِمَّنْ صَرَّحْ بِهَذَا الْكَلَامِ أبو الكاتب أبو الأعلى مودودي. The Pakistani scholar Abu al-A'la Maududi is one of those people who has referred to this. Then in the next page he says, وَهَذَا الْكَلَامِ صَرِيحٌ. This is the point that I'm referring to. Ayatullah Sobhani says, وَهَذَا الْكَلَامِ صَرِيحٌ. This statement of Maududi, that he goes to the words of Maududi, I don't want to get into this. He says, وَهَذَا الْكَلَامِ صَرِيحٌ فِي أَنَّهُ جَعَلَ الْإِعْتِقَادِ بهذه السلطة المهيمنة ملاكا للاعتقاد بالألوهية. So it is clear, it's a declaration that why he says, why these people, they call believing in such power for awliyaullah to consider them ilah. It is because of this power, extraordinary power. Means that when you consider that a person has such extraordinary power, you are considering them ilah. So this is the point in the issue of tawassul and istighatha. Means the essence of tawassul and istighatha. Why tawassul and istighatha is considered shirk? Because they say you believe in such extraordinary power for them, wilayat takvini. This is something that, as I said, I explained it in details in the first lesson. In the first episode, I explained it, the nature of such extraordinary power for man. So the issue of wilayat takvini is the essence of tawassul and istighatha. If you understand wilayat takvini properly and the nature of the ijaz and miracles, then you have answered the misconceptions in the issue of istighatha and tawassul as well. So this is the important point, because if you consider that only human being can do such extraordinary acts, then you consider them ilah, as Maududi and the others said. But if you believe that Allah can give such authority to human being, then it's not going to be shirk. It's not shirk in any sense. And again, this is not my word, it's the word of Ayatullah Sobhani in his book Al-Fikr al-Khalid, volume 1, page 63. He says, إن التبسل بالأرواح المقدسة والاستمداد بالنفوس الطاهرة الخالدة عند ربها نوع من التمسك بالأسباب غير الطبيعية. He says we have two kinds of causes, natural causes and unnatural causes, and appealing to the souls of the pure people like awliya and the prophets. This is appealing to unnatural and supernatural causes. Then he says, وأما البحث عن أن هذه الأرواح والنفوس هل في مقدورها أن تغيث من يستغيث بها أو لا? Now the question is that is there such power for these arwah, for these souls, to answer those who do istighatha to them or not? He says that point we are not going to talk about it here. He says what matters us here هو البحث عن مسألة التبسل بتلك الأسباب. Here what matters us is that is appealing to those causes, unnatural or supernatural causes. هل تنسجم مع التوحيد أو أنها نوع شرك? Does it go along with Tawheed or it's a kind of shirk? Then he says that no, it's the essence of Tawheed and it has nothing to do with shirk. Then he says if a person is in the condition that he has no hope in natural causes, like he's suffering from a disease that the doctors cannot help, so that person believes that فإن الله قد منح الأرواح المقدسة القدرة على حل المشكلات بإذن الله تعالى. If a person believes that the pure souls of awliya are permitted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala بإذن الله to help him in that condition, and to believe that they can help him, إن هكذا اعتقاد يستحيل أن يعد شركا. It's impossible to consider such a belief to be shirk. If you believe that in that occasion Imam Hussein can help me, this is impossible to be shirk. نعم هناك بحث آخر هل أن هذا الاعتقاد صحيح أو غير صحيح. Yes, and this is another discussion, that whether if you appeal to Imam Hussein, is he going to help you or not? Is he capable of helping you or not? Does he hear you or not? He said this is another issue, but it is not shirk in any sense. So you see that the essence of tawassul and istighatha revolves around this issue, that whether they have capability and power to help you or not. If they don't have the capability, if human being cannot do that, then believing that they can help, this is shirk, because this is only to be done by Allah. And when you believe that they are going to help you in this, you are considering them ilah. But if you believe that they can be permitted to help you, even if you are wrong, even if Imam Hussein is not going to help you, you might be doing some useless act, but this is not shirk in any sense. So because of that, you see, wilayat takvini is related to the issue of tawassul. If wilayat takvini is accepted, tawassul is not going to be shirk in any sense. And those who are rejecting wilayat takvini, so they themselves may fall in the trap of shirk if they consider man independent in the ordinary acts. This is something that we were talking about. Now somebody may say that, no, Maulana, We don't understand these texts. We just want a declaration from Ayatullah Sobhani on this issue. You have to show us that Ayatullah Sobhani has declared that those who believe in tawassul and Istighatha, those who reject tawassul and Istighatha, they may fall in the shirk that they were running from. If you want that, then I will show you that again. In the very book Mafahimul Quran, volume 1, page 515. هل التوسل بالأسباب شرك? Ayatullah Sobhani says, is appealing to asbab, to causes, shirk or not? In the next page, he comes to explain and bring some examples of the Wahhabis' misunderstandings. That is, Wahhabis always cause problems by their misunderstandings, unfortunately, wherever they are. He says, these people consider everybody mushrik. Sometimes they say things that even it includes them and they themselves are mushrik. He says, a trustworthy friend narrated for me that Sheikh Abdul Aziz has said, إِنَّ كُلَّ تَعَلُّقٍ بِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ شِرْك. Any kind of appealing to other than Allah is shirk. Then he goes to do surgery on this statement and he says, لو كان معنى الشرك هو هذا الذي يقوله إذا لابد أن نعتبر كل البشر على هذا الأرض مشركين. If we accept this statement, then everybody is mushrik on the earth, without any exception, حتى الوهابيين. Even the Wahhabis themselves, they are mushrik. If this statement is correct. Why? Because لأنهم يتوسلون إلى تحقيق مآربهم وتنفيذ حاجاتهم عن طريق التعلق والتوسل بالأسباب. Because whatever they do, they appeal to asbab and wasail. The nature of life is, the ordinary life is appealing to asbab and wasail. Then he says, ما أنه لا يمكن أن يقال أن الأسباب والعلل هي الله. You cannot say that when you are to remove thirst, you are drinking water, you cannot say that water is Allah. You cannot say that all these tools that we use, our body or the things around us, these are Allah. They are not Allah. And you are appealing and doing tawassul to them. So you are not considering them Allah. They are other than Allah. But at the same time, this is not against Tawheed. Then he says, مَا أَنَّهُ لَا يُمْكِنُ أَنْ يُقَالْ. So why people appeal to these asbab, and nobody can say that appealing to these asbab, to these tools, to these wasail is shirk. في حين أن هذا النوع من التعلقات والتشبثات ليست فقط لا تعد شركا. Not only these things are not shirk, بل هي عين التوحيد. But this is the essence of Tawheed. You believe that Allah has created everything, and you believe that Allah has created the life on the system of cause and effect. And this is the essence of Tawheed. غاية الأمر أن عليه أن لا يعتقد لهذه الأسباب والعلل أي استقلال وانقطاع. Maximum is that you shouldn't consider these wasail and these tools independent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. بل لابد أن يعتقد بتأثيرها تبعا لمشيته سبحانه. You have to believe that all these causes, they work by the permission and authority to come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. نعم إن التعلق بالأسباب والعلل الظاهرية المادية قد يكون أين التوحيد من جهة وأين الشرك من جهة أخرى. This is what we're talking about. That to believe, to appeal to asbab, to appeal to wasail, it could be shirk from one aspect, it could be tawheed from the other aspect. فعندما لا نعتقد بأي استقلال لهذه الأسباب عند تشبثنا بها ولا نعتبر تأثيرها في مساف الإرادة الإلهية وفي أرزها بل نعتقد بأنها تقع في ضمن السلسلة التي تنتهي بالمآل إلى الله فلا نخرج عن إطار التوحيد. When we do not consider these wasail independent from Allah, and we believe that all of them are working under the authority of Allah, this is the essence of Tawheed. We are in the realm of Tawheed. أما عندما نرى لهذه الأسباب والعلل استقلالا, but if we consider them independent, if we consider these causes are independent in what they are doing, then this is shirk. This is what we were talking about. That when you are separating between ordinary act and an extraordinary act, sometimes you may fall in the trap of shirk. So Ayatullah Sobhani first talks about the ordinary acts, natural causes, ordinary causes, to say that in ordinary causes nobody denies. Even Wahhabis, they don't deny that when they are drinking water, this is not shirk. That's why they appeal to all these things and they don't consider it to be shirk. So when they are drinking water, if they consider that they are drinking water and this water, independent from Allah, is removing their thirst, they are mushrik. But if they believe that this is coming, this cause as water is working under the authority of Allah, this is not shirk. Then Ayatullah Sobhani comes to the page 521, التوسل بالأسباب غير الطبيعية. He explained about natural causes, then he goes to unnatural or supernatural causes. He says إلى هنا تبين أن النظرة إلى الأسباب الطبيعية بلحاظ أنها إلى الغير مستغلة أين التوحيد. Up to here we explained that in ordinary and natural causes, when you appeal to them, when you don't consider them independent from Allah, separate from Allah, this is the essence of Tawheed. You don't consider them independent from Allah. وبلحاظ استغلالها في التأثير أين الشرك. And if you consider them independent, then this is nothing other than shirk. وأما غير الطبيعية, what about extraordinary causes? What if you ask Imam Hussein for shifa, if you ask the Prophet for shifa? من العلل. وأما غير الطبيعية من العلل فحكمها حكم الطبيعية. The ruling concerning these extraordinary causes is the same with ordinary and natural causes. حيث أن التوسل على النحو الأول عين التوحيد وعلى النحو الثاني عين الشرك حرفا بحرف. Here also we say, if you consider Imam Hussein independent from Allah, this is shirk. If you consider him being permitted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the essence of Tawheed. So you see that this is the declaration from Ayatullah Sobhani concerning what we were talking about. I hope inshallah after this explanation it has been clarified for brothers. So our brothers should bear in mind that this is not our akhlaq and our way to lie, to defend the beliefs and school of Ahlul Bayt. And also we don't need it. We have lots of arguments that we see, especially about a person like Ayatullah Sobhani, that he has lots of works on the issue of tawassul and Istighatha, that if you are interested, you can go to different books of him. Al-Aqidatul Islamiyya from page 282. In all these books that I'm mentioning, he goes into details in tens of pages. And it's not one page or two. His books are very detailed. So in Aqidatul Islamiyya, he talks about this. And then he goes to the other book, Al-Wahhabiyya wal-Maban al-Fikriyya, from page 275 onward. He talks about this again in details. He mentions different views of scholars and lots of things about the issue of tawassul. Then he goes to the other book, Fi Zill Usul al-Islam. Fi Zill Usul al-Islam from page 235. Again, he goes into details of doing tawassul to the Prophet and awliya. In other book, Rasail wa Maqalat volume 5, page 347. Again, he gets into details of this. And another book, Al-Wahhabiyya fil Mizan from page 125. In all these books, the other book, Fi Zilal al-Tawheed, from page 571. In all these books, in details, in tens of pages, he goes into the issue of tawassul and istighatha. If we want to study the views of Ayatullah Sobhani, it will be another 50 sessions. So I hope inshallah after this points that I raised, the misconception that was created for the brothers to be sorted out. The claim of that brother that was saying that we are ascribing something that Ayatullah Sobhani has not said to him, it was because of his misunderstanding. It shows that he's not a clever student, and they have to go humbly sit and learn. When you don't know the role of Wilayat Takfiri in tawassul, no matter you are for tawassul or against it, Sometimes you accept tawassul like us, sometimes you reject it like Wahhabis. But anyhow, if you know the relation of things, you will not raise such questions. Inshallah, they will correct themselves, and now it's on them to come and apologize for the accusation that they had. I hope, inshallah, it is clarified for our brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد